love you more, my hashtag my favorite Phoebe. Oh, wow. What an incredible event. Personal development. That's my pleasure to talk to you today about. And I get to go after Cody and before Jordan. How about that for stress? Oh, but no, I'm going to talk to you today a few things, and it's about patience with a sense of urgency. It's about connecting the dots. In life, you have to connect the dots, right? Some doors close, others open. It's a dot along the journey. So you might be wondering, what is patience with a sense of urgency? Where did that come from? Well, meet my friend, my coach, my mentor, Hank. I love this guy. He's taught me so much about business, about life, but he's so passionate about this phrase. It's tattooed to his arm. It's an arrow. What's the significance of an arrow? The significance of an arrow is when you put it on a bowstring, what do you have to do first? You have to pull it back in order to shoot it. So sometimes you have to go backwards before you can go forwards. Patience with a sense of urgency. Who's read the story of the tortoise and the hare? Who won the race? Why? Because it was consistent. Where you are today is a dot on the map, right? At every pause, at every destination, at every function, at every event, you're collecting a dot. Where you'll be in 5, 10, 40 years from now is a result of what? The habits you have, the thoughts you think, and the people that you surround yourself with. Give yourself a hand for surrounding yourself with some amazing people today. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your habits they form who you become. Cody just talked about that, right? Personal development. Your journey, it has twists and turns. Is life easy all the time? No. But I guarantee you adventure awaits you. So finding out who you are and giving the best version of yourself away to your family, to your friends, to the world makes a tremendous difference. You're here today to grow. You're here today to collect a dot in your journey. I'm here today to inspire you to stay consistent, keep a positive attitude. One day in the future, you'll be living the life that you dream about. Can you collect the dots looking forward, connect them? No, you have to look back. You have to look back. So mine is a journey of patience with a sense of urgency. I was given a vision at the age of 18. Cody talked about faith. I'm going to share a journey with you. I'm going to share my journey with you. If I close my eyes today, I can still picture that moment 41 years ago when I had this. Each piece is a dot. It's a puzzle piece. You notice on the screen the ego puzzle. Each piece along the journey is a dot to get where you want to go. This is where Steve and I are headed. Looking back brings clarity. Here I am, 18 years old, graduated from high school. 78 was a big year for me. I turned 18 on April 4th. I got married on April 15th. I graduated from high school in June, and I had a baby in October. It was a really big year for me. And for Steve too, babe. You were part of that. So the defining moment I had was in August of 1978. Steve and I were in a business. We were young entrepreneurs. We were dreamers. And we thought we had it going on, right? We went to an event in Toledo, Ohio, and we watched as speakers graced the stage, sharing success stories, how business changed lives. We were young. There we are, 18 and 20 years old, dreamers, entrepreneurs. We thought we had it going on in business. And then we stayed overnight and we attended a church service. And here's what I can recall about that church service. I remember standing. Cody just talked about faith. I remember standing at this church service, and I had one arm raised in worship, and the other was resting on my 8-month pregnant belly. And I said, God, what is my purpose? And that still small voice spoke in my ear. And it said this: "You will be on the stages of the world. You will inspire many." Now, I closed my eyes, young entrepreneur, and I pictured what that looked like. I thought for sure we were going to skyrocket to the top of our business. I'd be speaking, we'd be rich. Doesn't every 18 and 20-year-old want to be rich? Well, the reality was church was over. I'm 18. I just barely graduated from high school. I was pregnant, and I would wonder over time, was that really a voice, or was that just a figment of my imagination? You've ever had those thoughts? So, here we are. There's Steve and I with our 3 beautiful children. Gabe came October 1st, 1978. 17 months later came his little sister, Andrea. Today, Andrea's husband of 14 years, and their daughter, my first granddaughter, McKenna Lopez, is here in the audience today. And there's baby Jordan. Jordan came along October 6, 1981. I was 21 years old. I had 3 children. Most of my friends were just graduating from college, and I was well into parenthood. And I scored myself a B+ in the school of life. Because after all, I was 21 years old. This led to my next chapter in life. You see, I went to Lamaze class, and I met Tim and Jody. Tim and Jody had Aaron. Jody was going back to school, or back to work, and I was staying home with my son. She said, "Would you like to take care of Aaron?" That started adventures in babysitting. For 25 years, I was a stay-at-home mom, childcare provider. Here's some of the beauties that came into my life that touched my heart. 1978 to 2004. Connecting those dots, I can see how it was preparing me for my next career, which you all know is real estate. You know how I know that? Because for 25 years, I nurtured and negotiated with 2-year-olds. It taught me a skill, and that skill was patience. They had urgency, I had patience. I learned to build strong relationships with the parents because what do? They came in and out of my life. And I rarely had a vacancy in my daycare business because those families would refer families that would refer families. Finally, in 2002, that beauty that's sitting right there was born, and it changed my world. She was my heart. I didn't want to take care of everybody else's babies. I wanted to take care of mine. But I didn't want to have to be the disciplinarian. So I chose a new career. I became a cleaning lady. Okay, after 4 months, I realized that was not a long-term commitment. So, and by the way, this is the value of relationships. How many of you clean your own house? How many of you have someone clean it for you? My little Emily commented on a post that Nico made, my son-in-law, and she said, "Gail, we're cheering you on from Kalamazoo." That's my cleaning lady. So, Steve encouraged me to get my real estate license. 2003, December. That's a picture of me sitting in front of the computer getting ready to take my class. But let me take you on this. I was nervous and scared. It'd been 26 years since I'd barely graduated from high school, and quite honestly, I didn't think I would remember if I could learn how to do math. I cheated in geometry, just so you know. I had a really good partner. So, I got my real estate license. 40 hours, took the class, studied all weekend, took the test on Monday. 72 hours, I went from retired child care provider and cleaning lady to licensed to sell homes in the state of Michigan. And guess what? I didn't know how to do it. So what did I have to do? I had to involve myself in education. So over the next 3 years, I dedicated to learning as much as I could about the real estate business. I got my ABR, my CRS, my GRI, my ePro, And I was featured on the back of the magazine 3 years in a row for education through our association. And I'm glad I did it back then because guess what? They don't make a Homes magazine anymore. Everything's on the internet. Then I had 3 years. I had enough transactions under my belt to sit for my broker license. You can't see my face because I guarantee you if you did, I'd be like this. Sitting for that test was nerve-wracking, but I did it. And when I walked out, I got the paper that said congratulations. It would be 6 years before I put that into practice, opening up Network Team Homes Realty with Steve and operating our own brokerage. Patience with a sense of urgency. It'd be so 5 years in a row I was nominated for Realtor of the Year. 5 years in a row, I'd fill out the application, I would go in, I'd turn it in, and every September I'd get a letter, and it said, "Dear Gail, thank you. It's a real honor and privilege to be nominated by your peers. Thank you for the contribution you make to our association and our community. Try again next year." It was September 2016. I'd filled out the application. I got it back. Went to the mailbox and I got the letter, and I thought for sure, here we go again. And when I opened it, it said, "Dear Gail, congratulations. We are proud to call on you to be the Realtor of the Year for the Greater Kalamazoo Association 2017. That Realtor of the Year pen is precious. I got my own parking spot. Was it Lee that said, when they went to the college visit, hey, it was cool when it was winter and a blizzard and I pulled up to the association, I can park right in front. It was a tremendous honor. It took time on task over time to develop our skill set. Consistent efforts over time, serving our clients, serving our community. Steve and I have been in this business for 15 years, and it just keeps getting better. You know why? Because the relationships we have and the people that come into our lives that we can serve allow us to give back. Send out cards. I was introduced to send out cards in 2007. See, I just joined BNI in October of 2006 as a realtor in the group. It was May of 2007 where they had a visitor's day. How many of you know what a visitor's day is? Wow, lots of hands go up. So there's 120 people in the room. A visitor's day, for those of you who don't know, we invite professionals to come to fill the spots in our group. So this visitor's day, there's 120 people, and they play a game. You have literally 60 seconds to collect as many business cards as you can. I got 19 that day. You know what? That meant 19 people got my card, but this was the only card I got in the mail 5 days later. Nothing beats a great referral. I opened that card. I was like, wow, how do they do that? So I called Frank. I sent a card to Steve. I researched send-out cards, and we joined. Now I had a CRM for my business. I had a stack of files on my desk, 3 years, 80 transactions. I had nowhere to put them. So I hired Julie. Julie was in our BNI group. Julie and Nate Campice. This is the house we sold them. They were friends. Julie, after putting all those contacts in, chose to become an affiliate. She's our first affiliate. And Julie, if you're watching on live streaming, I love you. She's still in business with us today. 2008, our first convention. This is when we first met Cody and Jody. It was an amazing, amazing event. How many agree with me that events drive business? This grand summit and all the valued information that you're learning will drive your business, but only if you apply it when you go home. Kudos to you for being here. You've invested your time, you've invested your finances. Go home and make use of it. This is a dot in your journey. Defining moment, 2010. How many of you remember the real estate market in 2010? Jay McHugh? Chip? It was dismal. Steve and I were struggling to stay afloat. It was a really hard time. I needed a mind shift. Cody he'd scheduled a Treat 'em Right seminar in Las Vegas, so I said, I'm going. I can go see my stepmom, Babette, who lives there, and I can get a little boost. I reached out to Jordan's assistant, Megan. I said, if there's any chance that I could have a few words with Jordan, I'd really appreciate it. So it was the morning of the event. I got up early to stand in line. He came by and tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, hey, come on, Gail, let's go in here and chat. Entered that room, and rows of chairs. Just soon there'd be that electric energy of positivity. We went to the back of the room. He said, so what's up, Gail? How you doing? I said, Jordan, I'm struggling. Steve and I are struggling. I don't feel like a leader. I feel lost. And he looked at me as only Jordan, the dream broker, can do. And he said, Gail, that's an I am statement created long ago, like when you were 7. You can change that today. I'm going to give you some time. I want you to sit in here, and I want you to make a shift, create new I am statements. And so I listened to the dream broker. I went back. Okay, at this time now I've got tears falling down my face because Jordan had just interacted with me and told me who I was. Now it was up to me to write that story. So I wrote this. Here's the actual what I wrote. I had him sign it. It's his autograph. But this is in 2010. I choose right now at 8:20 a.m. Pacific time to refute that thought and promise myself to never repeat it or write it ever. I am a dreamer of dreams. I am a natural-born leader. People are drawn to my smile and my heart. My heart is genuine, kind, and sincere. I give my love to others every day. My mind is aligned with success. So I stood up. I had 30 minutes before the event, and who knows that I did not go down and save my seat on the front row. I walked out, I treated myself to a cup of coffee, and I just thought about what just happened. Have you ever had one of those things where it just happens? So now, Cody's training, and he does a drill down. There's a part in the seminar, it's like your why, and then why is that important? Why is that important? Down to the why that makes you cry. And so he talked about these 2 tall buildings. And so I want you to picture, this is what Cody said. Picture 2 tall buildings, 30-story buildings. About 25 floors up, there's a plank that goes from one building to another. How many of you would walk that plank for $1 million? Anybody here? Well, dozens of hands went up that day. And then he said, okay, it's getting a little breezy. You know, there's a little light mist. How many of you still walk that plank for $1 million? There's a few hands. And then he went on. He says, okay, it's raining. It's frozen. There's a sheet of ice on this board. It's a little wobbly from the wind. How many of you are going to walk that plank for $1 million? Nobody. And then he said this. He said, what if I told you there was a 7-year-old little girl over there that needed to be rescued? In the morning, Jordan said, Gail, that's an I am statement created sometime when you were 7. Why would Cody pick 7 that afternoon? It was for me. This was my defining moment. That 7-year-old little girl was rescued. In the morning, her mind. In the afternoon, it was her heart. And she walked out of that room, and she knew that she would be a leader no matter what in anything she tried to do. And she is doing it. So, thank you. Thank you. Helping a friend. I got a call from my friend Tony Rubleski. He's an author and a speaker. He said, Gail, I need your help. I said, what can I do for you? He said, I need 3 cards for my speaking campaign. We met about halfway, Wayland, Michigan. This is way before Zoom. We met at McDonald's. I opened my laptop. I created 3 cards for him. When I was done, he says, you're really good at that. You should train people. And I said, I do. He said, but or do you have notes that you can give me? And then he challenged me, he says, I challenge you to write something out, put an outline together. So I was like, you think so? He says, yes, I know so. You can help a lot of people. Okay. Have you ever had someone that saw the genius in you that kind of pushed you outside of your comfort zone? It's not always comfortable, but what I did was I called my BFF, Melinda Russell. And the reason why I did, because we were training, we were working together, and she used to publish. And so I said, Melinda, I was just challenged by Tony. We got to get together. We got to create an outline. So in 6 weeks, we put this little thing together. It's called Unlocking the Secrets to Your Send-Out Card System. You don't know what you don't know, presented by Level 4 card senders. I didn't want to say senior managers because in my mind I was an eagle. So I chose Level 4 card senders. We had a blast doing this. Here's a quote I want to read to you. It's a passion project. How many of you are passionate about your business? Passionate about the things you do? This was the quote we chose from Maya Angelou. You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. Don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things you love doing and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. We all have the ability to do that. Do it well. People they'll be drawn to you. They'll be drawn to you. So, it was Steve and I's first leadership retreat in Florida. I was nervous. I didn't know Cody and Jody very well at the time. And we went and I showed some of the leaders the booklet, and they said, hey, that's pretty good. And then I saw Whitney, and I said, Whitney, would you please give this to Cody when you get back to corporate? And that was it. A few weeks later, guess what? I got a call from corporate. It said, we want you to come to Salt Lake City and talk to us about your little training book. Okay, how exciting. Do you realize that picture of me, that was at corporate sitting? I'm happy. Look at that face. I'm happy. I was in my happy place, my passion place. So what they did was they said, okay, after lunch, you're going to present. And I remember Emerald, they brought the staff over, and Emerald was working in customer support. I remember she came in, all business, sat in the front row. Melinda and I presented 5 minutes. They said, okay, we've heard enough. And they invited us to speak at the 2011 Freedom Convention. We knew, nobody knew us. We didn't, we're the two little senior manager girls from Kalamazoo, love system training. It was a dot on my map that I will always, always remember. Levels of consciousness. Level 1, you don't think about it, you don't do it. Level 2, conscious incompetence. I was wondering if I was going to say this, but I think we have a lot of incompetent people in the room today. You know how I know that? Because there's many of you that are going to go home. You have taken notes over the last 3 days. You're going to go home Sunday. You're going to go back to your routine on Monday, and you're not going to apply anything that you learned. That's conscious incompetence. You think about it, but you don't do it. But I want to inspire you to get to level 3 and level 4. I want you to take your notes, go back through them, take a highlighter, highlight those golden nuggets, and then I want you to apply it. And I want you to do it. I want you to get into action, because when you get into action, magic happens. And when you get into action, it leads to habits, which is level 4, unconscious competence. You don't think about it, you just do it. 10,000 seat hours. Cody, I don't know if you remember this. We were invited to this intimate dinner after the Treat 'em Right. Melinda was there. Her son, Ben's son, Bryce, was there. And Cody, you talked about 10,000 seat hours and what it meant to be proficient and professional. It takes 10,000 seat hours to get there. Well, I calculated, 2008 to 2014, 6 years, how many cards, and guess what? I was sure that I'd had my 10,000 seat hours in. My consistent efforts over time, my habits that developed to become serve me well. I have so many stories on how the consistent habit of celebrating others, sending 3 to 5 heartfelt cards every day, has truly made a difference and been a habit since 2008. It required time on task, experimentation. It took patience with a sense of urgency to get through 10,000 seat hours. Couple more dots on the journey. We promoted to executive in May of 2016, senior executive in October of 2017. In April of 2018, we were the referral partner affiliate runner-up of the year. We have our sights set on Eagle. I love this puzzle, and I'm going to blow it up when I get home because I want to copy the right pieces that go in my puzzle. You know, that's a testament. It's not easy to get to Eagle. It's tough. It takes consistent efforts over time to get there. This last year, I've coached realtors around the country. I created 2 courses for continuing education for realtors in the state of Michigan. Our real estate business continues to support us with referrals from our friends and our family. We are living our dream life on Clear Lake. How many of you follow on Facebook? Come visit. We'll take you on a sunset cruise. It's a magical place, a place to dream. Our 9 grandchildren, ages 17 down to 6, fill our hearts with wonder and joy, and we love spending time with them. Here I am standing before you on a stage as a keynote speaker, and I'm remembering August 1978. That's 41 years ago this month when I stood there and I said, "What is my purpose?" And that voice said, "You'll be on the stages of the world. You'll inspire many." I'm here to tell you, your dreams are important. I want to compel you to dig deep within yourselves. Work diligently and consistently. But most importantly, surround yourself with people who lift you up and make you a better person. Collect your dots. You're here for a purpose. You can find the best version of you. You just have to look inside and bring it out. Develop that person. Go out into the world. Remember, it takes consistent efforts. You can only connect the dots looking back. I want you to pull up your arrow. Get that arrow. I wish I had one. I wish I had a bow and arrow, even one of those with the little... and I want you to imagine, picture that. You're pulling that arrow back. I don't know if you've ever pulled back a compound bow, but I have. It's been a while. But it's kind of shaky. But you aim, you close your eye, and you shoot for your target. Have patience with a sense of urgency. Thank you. I love you. Love you.